Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft, and I gotta start off by saying a massive thank you to all of you for all of the album covers that you sent in. I got so many tweets, so many emails, it was absolutely crazy. There are tons of wonderful record covers. Many of them are very humorous and I cannot wait to share them with all of you. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment, as right now we're going to just have a look at a couple of things around the base here. First of all, rainbow power all in check. Our base is still running absolutely fine after I haven't played for a couple of days. I did log on to an end of my army that brought my frames down to 1. It was kind of crazy, but that problem was solved. And over here you can see I'm setting up some Trinium Compressors. This is going to be the little thing I was going to do in my base today before we head over to the city of maybe, but unfortunately run into some problems here. I can't find a single mod that will actually send items into this block automatically for you, which is kind of troubling. I wanted to get 10 of these set up so we can make all of the singularities. I wanted to do that with the use of detectors, so we could say, you know, if we got an excess of iron in our system, over 10,000, something like that, then you can take the items and start compressing them. Pretty cool system. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and you can see this fancy block in front of me with the cool particle effects. This is what pretty much every other video I could find of someone using this block. They use this translocator mod, and it doesn't seem to work on the server. I cannot get it to work whatsoever, but in trying to do so, I actually figured out that this is a pretty cool mod, and I'm going to show you it quickly. So what you can do is place one of these down, and you can place another one inside the same block, and they will work together, which is really cool. So we can put some iron into this chest over here. We can set this side to receive by clicking on the little panel, and across it goes with some fancy particle effects as well. I love that. Now if we set that one to receive and this one to send, then back across they go, right? Pretty fancy stuff. Now you can do this with multiple items as well, so let's send them back. There goes the iron, and following it will be the redstone. You can see it's pretty fast. Oh, it's seriously cool. I do like this. Now what we're going to do is right click on the block, not the panel in the middle, and we get this thing right here where it says name, and this is actually an item filter. So if we set it to only receive iron, and then we send like this, the iron goes across, and you will see that the redstone stays inside of this chest. I like it. Now, we're going to attach a third one to this. You can actually, I think, have 5 in total inside one block. So I'll put that there. I'll set this one to receive, if I click on it with an empty hand, and along goes the redstone, because of course it can't go into that one over there. It's really fancy. I do like this, and there's a couple more things that you can do with this. You can put redstone on, and I believe it only works when it doesn't have a signal. So if we put this down, we would be locking it. No, that did something. That actually changed it from send to receive. I thought it acted as an on-off. Okay, it did something a little bit different from what I remember. Yeah, it's an extremely cool mod. There is also a Glowstone Upgrade as well, and I believe what this does is it sends the items across even faster. So if I add Glowstone to that, we've got a stack in there, and now it doesn't send. Let's set you to receive. I think maybe Glowstone means it receives quicker, so let's go that way. I can't remember what the Glowstone does, but either way, it's a very cool mod. I think Glowstone and Redstone are the only upgrades you can put on it, and it's really nice. Unfortunately, it's not working with that over there. I am stumped with that project as of right now, so it's time for us to jump over to the city of maybe, and I know you want me to head over to the record store. That guy's jumping around. He's having fun over there. Jeez. I know you want me to go to the record store and show you some album covers. We will get to that soon. I'll tell you what, some of these are absolutely hilarious. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to show you them. First of all, want to show you something else though. We're going to have a FoolCraft Central Park here on the server. And as we fly around and have a look at it, you'll see that there's a bit of a fencing area around here. As we get closer to it, you'll see that actually this is pretty spectacular. Look at the level of detail going on right here. Good times with Scar, once again, knocking the ball out of the park. This is absolutely stunning. I love the little detail with the leaves, and it's really gorgeous. I mean, the park that'll end up on the inside will be amazing too, I'm sure, but he's just done the fencing around the outside. It looks so good. Had to start off by showing you that. Ever so impressed. Very inspired, very inspired. And heading over to here, we're going to find that someone has already put several copies of an album on display. El Mayorori Greatest Hits. This is pretty spectacular. This one's going to stay in the shop. It amuses me ever so much. However, I don't think it's going to be spammed all over the place like it currently is. You know, we're going to have to move this around. And I've been thinking about the dimensions of this place. I reckon this might end up being a little bit small. Then again, when you look at the size of one of these, we're basically going to have like record racks going across the side, right? And above every one of them will be a screen with an album cover. We're actually going to like squeeze in a lot of them. There's going to be a lot to look at. Oh, it's going to be so cool. But when Iskal came over here and put in his wow, if I could talk, El Mayorori Greatest Hits, he also commented on these bricks right here. I kind of like that, but maybe we should actually go for something different. He suggested that we try the sandy bricks, which is the one that he's used on his building over here. So I'm actually going to start off by grabbing a load of these, swapping some of the bricks out, and see if we actually like that as the build theme a little bit better. I've only done a little bit, but I'm going to say no. It looks kind of yucky, to be honest. And I think what we got going on here is a bit of a free tone thing at the moment. We got the white, the black, and the red. And so to have two, like, you know, shades and a color, that matches really well. However, I was kind of tempted to try this material here as well, the infernal brick, which is slightly purple, also very dark. That might look good, but I think before we proceed, I'm just going to run around and maybe try a few more different materials. Going to try this one next, dried bricks. They look really weird on the diagonal when you look at them straight on, but from the side they look okay. Strange stuff. So over here I've set up some drying racks, because this is how you turn this stuff into the bricks that you make to make that colored one over there. And something that I spotted earlier when I was flying around was this over here, and I was trying to figure out what it was. I thought it was a bench with like some blocks put in the side, and then I noticed over here we've got one of those bricks, so it would have been clay turned into brick. And then I noticed this and I'm like, that's the full block, isn't it? I can come over here and I can put, yep, look at that, I can hang up an entire clay block and just turn it straight into one of those. I'll say it now, I think this is going to be it, and I'm actually going to go around and replace the bricks, not just place them on the outside like this, although that actually gives it a really like awesome 3D effect, so maybe we will do this and then we could actually remove the bricks on the inside after. That is an interesting idea. I'm going to mess around with that idea, but we're going to go with this. It makes the whole thing a little bit more pale, but this yellowy brown colour I think matches that colour a little bit nicer, and it makes it fit in with the rest of the city as that material's been used around the place. The whole idea with these drying racks, I got it completely wrong. These blocks can't be converted into those ones, so I made a bit of a boo-boo there. Doesn't matter though, you can see over here, I think the colour of the building just looks right from a distance, doesn't it? And the bit that doesn't look right is the bricks you can see through the windows, which we're going to work on in a moment. Now, I've tidied up this bit over here, looking a little bit better. Obviously, it needs things to go in that space, a truck, some details, whatever. And then, yeah, I was about to do something disastrous, and I thought I was going to be smart and do it the non-disastrous way. So what I want to do is use vein miner and actually want to rip out all of these bricks, because what we've done is we placed our walls on the front of them, which means we can make the entire place bigger because these screens will place directly onto this wall right here. So we kind of get like an extra block across the width of the room, which is really cool. And I was going to vein mine all of this up, but because it's a chisel and bits block, what it would actually do is vein mine every other type as well, including all the walls that I've just placed, scars, roads, and yeah, it would have been absolutely disastrous to hold down Q right now while I break these blocks. So I am very, very thankful that I didn't choose to do that. Okay, I just want to say the shop looks amazing now. And we've barely started on the interiors. I'm also going to have a door down the back here, and I'm going to convert some of this space into like a staff back area, and then there'll be a door here where they can unload the stock that comes through directly into the shop. Let's try that again. Yeah, we've gone through. And on the inside, you can see one of the materials that we're going to use, one of the ones that Iskal recommended. I think this is cool. It's kind of a little bit wooden looking, like it almost looks like wooden panels, and I reckon what we'll do is throw in some wood around here as well, especially on the ceiling. I feel like on the ceiling we need more than just these bone blocks, which is the material we're going to go for. I reckon some wooden beams with lighting on would be... Now what happened there? Aha, it's the same old thing, the mouse wheel, the scrolling of the mouse wheel, it just changes itself after you've finished scrolling. Anyway, that probably makes no sense. But yeah, that I think is going to be alright, and it's pretty flat, you know, flat floor, flat ceiling. We've got to make sure that the contents of this room give it a proper feel, you know, because otherwise it's going to look a little bit bland. But I was thinking what we could also do is maybe throw in some blocks like this and have some sections of the roof that are like raised up, and classically I've run out of these blocks. So I'm talking about something like that where a part of the roof raises up a little bit, and I think if I plan that out and make it fit into this room that has an awkward shape, then that will probably work. But I know you want to see these posters, we're going to get to them real soon now. We've just got to build the little display that's going to go in front of it, and here's how this wall is going to work. We're going to borrow El Mayor over there, however you say that, I'm probably going to get that wrong every single time. And we're going to have them in a row. In fact, we might have like two here because the record rack itself is going to be 2 blocks tall because that's the height of the player. Then above it we'll have a record and maybe another one right up there, although that might look a little bit silly, I'm not sure. But the deal is it's going to sit there and it's going to nest in with these panels around it. So if I grab some more of that and we use connected material, it's basically going to have that sitting around it, and I might also add some details here that kind of connect to this screen, like maybe it could say number 1, number 2, like we could have a chart system or something like that going on. Alright then, this place has been tidied up a bit more, looking okay. I never really commented on the floor. It's going to look better once there's some furniture in here and we can make adjustments. In fact, there's lots of stuff you might notice, like the walls and the front here, where you're thinking we need a bit more detail. All of that's in mind. I just kind of want to get the basics of the shop coming along here. And what we're going to do is just check out what this birchwood looks like, because I've kind of picked the material I want to go with here, and it's this. However, there is the oak equivalent, which is that one, and we will put them side by side. So there's that, and then there's, oh, that's not actually the same at all, is it? Huh. No, there isn't an oak. Well, that's similar. That's as similar as it gets. I don't want to go with that one there. We're going to focus on this one here then. And the way that I want this to work is for it to have some legs and, you know, to be able to look into there and see that there's loads of records on display. So what we're going to start off by doing is actually chipping away a big portion of this, and then we're going to do a line at a time. So we're going to create like a slant, and these slants are going to be hollowed out, and then there's going to be records inside them, although these records aren't going to have a lot of detail about them. And what might help is having something of contrast to look across at, and maybe a bit more light in here as well. I've actually added some lights on the ceiling. Now that it's day, it's probably not going to make too much difference, but I just want to make sure I can see everything nice and clear. So that's what we're looking at. So that looks okay to me. I think the problem with it is just how perfect the slant is from top to bottom, and that will change. What we'll do next though is hollow it out. So we're going to draw a region, if this thing would, there we go, and it's going to be from there to there. Perfect, excellent, that's exactly what I wanted. And I think what we need down the front here is for, is this the same material? It is. Let's put you into the line tool, is for this thing to sort of come across and have a little bit of a lip at the front here. Yeah, that'll probably do. And then maybe the same thing at the back as well. So there's going to be that, and we'll close it off. That's looking more like I want. Now the next thing is that we're going to have our vinyl records in between some slits. So we'll have the bit at the front coming across, then we'll have like a slit there, another one here, and the vinyls will pop out in between is the general idea. Although it doesn't give you a lot of room for height, so maybe what we actually need to do is have these go 2 at a time. So it could be like that and that there, then there's a gap for a vinyl, and then the next one is here, another gap, something like that. I feel like that's the direction it should go in. Oh, that one I did wrong. Do you see the problem? Have you spotted it? I have. There's some bits missing there somehow. So we've got room for 4 different records, and they've all got a slot each, and then there's kind of like solid wood between all of that, and I think that has captured what I was going for pretty well. Can't make too much of a comment about that. The next thing is this bottom piece of wood right here, and it's going to be a pain to work on that on its own. So what we'll do is first of all slap that down there, break this thing, and then we're going to treat it like this bit from there to there is what's going to actually hold the vinyls. The vinyls are going to end up popping out of this box. And so on the bottom side, we want to have our legs just in this bottom region. And if I go to this tool, that should... In fact, we might get the legs straight away, depending on what kind of shape I actually want. That is not too bad. I was actually pitching something a little bit thinner. We could still make it thinner quite easily by going for the connected material. So let's sap it in a block. And you know what? I reckon that's going to work. That's probably going to be the base right there. Before we copy and paste this all over the shop, there's a couple of things that I want to do. One of those might be to remove these lines, actually. I think they're kind of a little bit ugly. Maybe if we use a similar texture wood, we can actually swap those out. But let's talk about the most important thing, which is the records that go inside of them. So we got, oh, you're supposed to consume all of it. There we go. We got a few different materials here, and the way that I'm going to put these into here is kind of finicky to begin with. Like at the top here, we're going to have to draw a region from that side over to there. Oh, that doesn't look good. Okay, there we go. So that's a vinyl popping out, and it doesn't look too great. I know, it doesn't look too great because the texture is very flat. The problem is a lot of these textures were designed for building, not for looking like records. Now that one needs to pop out by one more block, which we can do. That is a completely flat color. Let's try the chiseled stone one. We'll draw it from here to here and then add the extra trim. Now that looks a lot better, but again, little bit on the bland side. Actually, I think that's probably the best of what we've seen so far. And then we've got another flat color down here. So it's the textures. The textures, what we need to do is bring like an album art feel to this. And I can think of something actually. Void stone, like a little bit of these things would actually work really well. So we might have to investigate some of the more lively textures. But wow, actually, just looking at that from here, that's perfect. That's what I was going for. The one in the middle for some reason looks a little low, but it's not. I think it's just because it's the similar color to the one behind it. So with some multicolored blocks, we can come in and change this. Now, this is the next cool thing about this. For an example, like we copy and paste this, and now we've got this repeating over and over again. It's going to look pretty weird in the bigger picture of things, or however you want to say it. So if we go to same material and set it to replace, we can go, what's it look like with that one? It blends in a little bit too much. Let's change it back to this one here. And yeah, we can copy and paste and swap things around very easily that way. So using another oak wood texture, I'm just taking these lines out of the equation a little bit. They replace it with something that's clearly a slightly different color, but it totally works and I prefer it like that. So that's gone at those heights. It's left it with something a little bit different, and I'm keeping it down at the bottom. And I am really happy with that, actually. That's turned out really, really great. Okay, hands in the air. I'm guilty. I'm definitely getting carried away here. All I want to do is continue designing this layout right now. And I'm thinking, whoa, slow down. Hang on a second. We've got to think about this a lot before we start getting carried away. However, I feel like the proportion here is just right, the way you can walk down the aisles here and the positioning of everything so far. We're actually going to change up some of these, though. I feel like it being the same material is going to hold it back in the long run. This being this part, not the records, which we will change. It's now time to reveal some of the album art, okay, that we're going to put in here. So I'm going to get prepared to do that, and you're going to love this. So you're probably wondering, why is there a black box on the screen? It's because I want to go through these one by one. And also, I'm going to tell you now, the image is squashed in the extra utilities screen. I don't know why. So all of these are not displaying correctly. But this first one is by Amonda, and you probably got a good idea as to who's that album it's based on. I've actually got all of the albums you're going to see here, which is pretty cool. And I love it. It's so... well, it's derpy. I love it. Okay, right. The next one, which was made by Roy. Over here. Yes, classic album right there. Converted to Iskal. He's chasing a dollar there that's got 85 cents of Dorite cents or something. Absolutely hilarious. The next one was made by somebody who goes by the name of Nerd. And that's right. Very fine. Classic album right there. I know BOO is a big fan, so I'm sure he's going to love to see that one. The next two are both made by Cod DNK, who's made some really good ones. This is a great album, and it's been turned over to Full Symmetry Master of Gallery, because she's got her art gallery around the corner. And the next one, I've got to say, this one probably takes the cake, the biscuit, whatever the phrase is. Scar, a vulgar display of power of 1,000 scars. That is absolutely hilarious. If you know what album that's based on, it's kind of the same dealio. There is a Steve Fist hitting a creeper in the face. Absolutely ridiculous. And it looks so good. I gotta say, it looks so good. But man, this screen squashing thing that's going on, what is up with that? What is up with that? Let's go and put one of these down. You see, the image that I've created is 128 by 640, which is basically 128 times 5 is what 640 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is that not filling up the whole screen? These images are 1-to-1, like the size of them. I do not understand this, and as you add more, it never seems to fully fill it out, which is kind of annoying. I hope that can get fixed, but that's the first 5 records. Should we take a look at the next 5? Dr. M, the German. That one made me laugh so hard when I first saw it. And I think the next one absolutely had me bursting into tears. Another one from Death Row Records. Iscal El Maori. If you don't know what records these albums are based on, then a lot of this is probably going to be like, so what? But the first one there was made by Chris. And the second one here is made by Noki. Then we have a really awesome one made by Yuri, who's taken the latest Metallica album and tried to put it into the FoolCraft context. That's, I believe, Iscal, Ren, and Stress all sort of merged into one, and they are hardwired to fall, as it said. Now, this next one, I'm really glad someone made this, but they also did a really great job, and they go by the name $1 Million Question. And Nurse Scalder in development. That absolutely cracked me up. That's based on a Nirvana album. I hope Scalder sees this. I thought that one was brilliant. That's one of the best ones as well. And this next one's absolutely adorable. It doesn't need any explanation, does it? The Beatless. That's Scar, myself, False and Ren walking across Abbey Road. Oh, I love it. Seraphastius is the name of the person who made this. I've probably butchered your name. Sorry about that if you're watching. And this is based on a Fleetwood Mac record. It says Renscow Rumours. And I've got to say, I'm really annoyed that this image is squashed because it looks so great when you can see it at the full size. The next one is by Even, and it's The Voiders. I believe this is based on a Doors record. At least the font kind of looks like the Doors font. Really cool stuff right there. The next one is Scar, The Good Times. He's holding a grenade though. I'm not sure what good times you can have with a grenade. That one was made by Hugo, and I believe it's based on Green Day's American Idiot. I'm not sure though. The next one though, by Dewbank 11, is needs no explanation, does it? The Queen album, or the Bohemian Rhapsody image, absolutely brilliant. I love that. And then we have this one by Jared, based on, is it the Gorillaz record? And it's just the Hermits, and we're all standing there side on, and it says full days. Full days indeed. So there we go, we've started work on the interiors, and right now my mind is buzzing with ideas to add details in here. Signs hanging from the ceilings, signs above these, like, because this is going to be a chart. This is #1 right now in the country, in the full country. The Derp album! Yeah, and like loads of little things I want to do with the vinyl records, and I got so many ideas. One of those, though, I looked out the window here and thought about doing this. If we put this into additive mode, like that, and then replace, it's already on replace, same material. Does that fit in? I don't really think it does, but some lighting is necessary here, and I think what we're actually going to need is like bar lighting across the top here with a little bit of glowstone on display. So many ideas though, and thank you to everyone who has submitted these album covers. I've only showed 15 so far. I will continue to show them, and you can still send me them. If you've already drawn one and you want to make another one, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to pick out my favorites to build on here. Again, you can get in touch with me via email or via Twitter. And thank you again for all of the different entries that were submitted. And for those of you that got up here on the wall, thank you again. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. These are all absolutely amazing, and I really have enjoyed this project so far. You can probably guess that's it for me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like and let me know with a comment what you think of this whole project. I am absolutely loving this, and I really hope we can get those screens and the like aspect ratio sorted out for the images, because they're going to look amazing when they're fixed. But yes, thank you for watching this episode of FoolCraft, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.